This week, I've got another recipe video coming at you. This will be our Wild Game Time number 2. A couple weeks ago, probably like 2 months ago actually, we put out our very first Wild Game Time, and that was squirrel pot pie. This week, we're using some venison, and it's everybody's favorite. Yes, it is venison jerky. I'm using a recipe off the internet. I will show it to you right here. You will need a smoker for this recipe. That's right, this is smoked venison jerky. For this recipe, you will need 2.5 to 3 pounds of venison roast, 1 cup of soy sauce, half a teaspoon of Prague powder number 1, 3 tablespoons of brown sugar, 1 tablespoon of black pepper, 2 cloves of garlic, smashed or minced, 2 tablespoons of red wine vinegar, half a tablespoon of dried rosemary leaves, and half a cup of water. Before your meat is totally thawed, go ahead and slice it up into 1/4 inch to 1/8 inch pieces, going against the grain. When the meat is still kind of frozen, it's a lot easier to handle. It's a lot easier to trim silver skin off the outside. And if you don't have a slicer, which I don't, it's nice to have that meat kind of frozen so you can get accurate thin cuts. Once you've got all your ingredients together in a bowl here, this is everything besides the venison. Go ahead and just get everything mixed up so that salt and that sugar is all dissolved and mixed into everything. Then you're gonna take your venison roast that you've sliced up into pieces, and you're gonna pour your marinade over this. And you're gonna let that sit in the fridge all sealed up for 2 days, going through and kind of turning things and making sure everything's getting coated every half a day or so. It is smoker day. We're putting all the venison in the smoker. First thing I wanna do is get them all out of the fridge and onto the racks so that we can get the smoker preheated, and then everything's all prepped to go straight into the smoker. So I've gone ahead and I've laid out, this is just your basic freezer paper to cover the counter completely, because the marinade is wet and it's going to be dripping off of that jerky. I figured this is just a quick, easy way for cleanup. So what I'm going to do is fill up these 2 first, and then I've got these handy dandy kind of double-decker trays that mount into here. So I will fill the bottom row, layer this, fill up the top row, and then if we need any overflow, I can put some bigger pieces on these 2 racks. I found with jerky, the kind of woven wire works a little better. So that was 1 roast that you see there. I went ahead and that was a top round, I believe, and I also did a sirloin roast. So my batch is quite a bit bigger, so I'm gonna go ahead and get that sirloin roast out. But one thing I'm gonna keep in mind is this first one is gluten-free ingredients, because one of my roommates can't have gluten or wheat. So when I go to put those in the smoker, that goes on the very top rack, so that anything that drips down is not gonna be contaminating the gluten-free stuff. It's all gluten-free, and this is not gluten-free, but it is lower sodium. This is my Masterbuilt smoker. It is an electric smoker, and one thing that I've found out with the electric smokers is that if you achieve the temperature you're going for, so like this recipe calls for smoking these at 160, if you get up to 160, the heating element shuts off. And if you don't already have smoke coming from those wood chips, you're not gonna get smoke. So sometimes you kind of have to crack the door open a little bit, make that heating element work a little bit overtime so that it actually gets those wood chips smoking and you achieve smoke. Now you can use pretty much whatever kind of wood chips you wanna use. This recipe online, the person who put it together said they prefer mesquite. I've done hickory, and I love hickory, and it's actually what I have, so that's what I'm using today. Let's try 165 to start. If we have to go hotter, we will. All right. I do this just to make it easier for cleanup. But you take your water tray, you don't need any water in it. You just go ahead and cover it with aluminum foil, put a little divot in there so it catches the juices. Put that on the lowest rack layer. Are you giving me the whole rack? I'll let that go for about 4 hours. I find myself constantly fighting the urge to lock this door tighter so smoke doesn't come out. When that happens, we jump up temperature really quick, the heating element shuts off, and then we lose our smoke production. As long as I see that smoke going and there's no flare-ups down below, you don't want to see fire. But as long as that smoke is being produced, it's a good sign. Go ahead and re-up some more of these hickory chips. So it's been about 3.5 hours now, but some pieces are done, some need a little more time. So I'm going through and pulling out the trays. I'm gonna bring the tray inside just so it's easier and pick off any of the ones that I think are done and then back into the smoker for the ones that need a bit more time. Yeah, they're all still pretty tender. These are all gonna go back in. So you want them to be dried out, but still pliable. Like I said, 3.5 hours. We were estimating about 4.
Lighting and cameraman? Jeez. You don't pay me enough. How long have you been cooking so far?
4 hours. All right, they turned out really nice. They're still flexible, but they're dry to the touch. I'll give you an idea about this texture here. That's kind of what you're looking for. So maybe cut them a little thinner next time. Both of them taste amazing. These ones were with the regular soy sauce. These ones were with lower sodium. Honestly, I like the regular soy. The extra bit of saltiness really complements the meat very well. But both excellent, excellent tasting jerkies. Go try it yourself, and thank you for watching.